The Lehigh Mountain Hawks returned to the top of the Patriot League in 2024, winning the program's 13th championship and returning to the FCS playoffs for the first time since 2018. There, Lehigh upset Richmond in the first round for the second time in program history. Hi, I'm Paige Messier in the Patriot League studio. We're ready to kick off the 40th season of Patriot League football in grand fashion with a huge matchup that is loaded with storylines. Number 22 Richmond will make its Patriot League debut in Bethlehem on Saturday with a Top-25 FCS matchup against number 15 Lehigh. The Mountain Hawks scored a pair of fourth-quarter touchdowns last November to beat then number 9 Richmond and advance to the second round. The two schools enter 2025 as the preseason favorites in the league, and it will be a challenge for both to open the season with such a pivotal matchup.
You know, that's the outside. Everybody wants to talk about how big of a game Richmond is, and we really are just focused on ourselves. We do it all camp. It's kind of our focus all season is going to be how good can Lehigh play, how good can we be. It doesn't really matter who's across on the other sideline. It's going to be a battle. So we keep our focus on ourselves as much as possible and focus on the nest and what we can bring to the table each day. And then this week it's Richmond's on the other side, and yeah, there's a lot of implications. It's their first conference game. It's a conference opponent. You can go through the gamut of how important this game is, but really it's our first game. It's our first chance to get in Goodman Stadium and play the way that we want to play. And if it's good enough, we'll win the game. If it's not, we'll get back to the drawing board and get better.
Richmond enters the Patriot League having won 14 conference titles and a national championship in 2008. The Spiders have made the FCS playoffs in each of the last 3 seasons, and a win in Saturday's season opener will be a huge step in making it 4 straight.
I let them know that, Lehigh's got a really good football team, and they beat us last year, and, they got a good team, a lot of players back. So I think it's not about any kind of revenge or they beat us, so we got to beat them. It's about, all right, how can we execute and what kind of energy can we play with, and then go from there.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Week 1 schedule, as Lafayette will be the first to open the season on Thursday in one of 4 FBS matchups on the schedule this weekend. Colgate will open up at home on Friday against number 21 Monmouth, and Georgetown will travel to Davidson. Holy Cross faces FBS Northern Illinois on ESPN Plus at 3:30 on Saturday, and the Crusaders enter year 2 of the Dan Curran era, looking for a 7th straight Patriot League title. Holy Cross has earned a share of the title in each of the last 2 seasons, but they have not been to the FCS playoffs since 2022.
We're very proud of our history here and what we've been able to accomplish both in years past and more recently, including last year. But we also understand from a program philosophy, that has nothing to do with what we're doing moving forward. The things we talked about improving is continuing to get better in situational football, third down, red zone, end of half, end of game scenarios, knowing that we're going to be in some tight games like we were last year with the type of schedule we have again this year, and understand those things can really impact the season, but also reminding those guys as we continue to work on those areas that we want to improve on and make more consistent, so those show in critical moments against good teams on the road, don't forget who you are. And with us, it comes back to really being a program that's built on physicality and toughness, in a unit that's going to go out there and compete with a relentless edge for 60 minutes. And these kids have done a great job not making sure they lose sight of what makes Holy Cross Holy Cross.
Bucknell enters 2025 with one of the FCS's top returning quarterbacks in Ralph Rucker, who threw for 2,826 yards and 25 touchdowns. He'll face a stiff challenge in the opener against Air Force, which was appropriately tough to attack through the air. The Falcons ranked 27th in FBS in passing defense, allowing 188.5 yards per game and just 12 touchdowns. 6 of the 7 games in Week 1 are on ESPN Plus, so fire up the ESPN app or head to patriotleague.tv to watch all the action. I'll see you back here next week and enjoy Week 1.